You are interested to build your assets in 2026. In this video, I am going to discuss 7 assets which you can begin with an amount which you have at the moment and start earning passive income. The first asset is the certificate of deposit. This generally means you lend money to a bank and you and the bank agree on a specified interest and also a specified time frame which this money is going to be held in your bank account. For example, if you have 10,000 Kenyan shillings and you want to lend it to a bank, you can agree if you are going to allow this money to stay with that bank for 3 months, you can agree to receive, for example, 2% interest. And by the end of this time frame, you are going to receive an interest on the amount which you deposited in this bank account. If you withdraw the money before the agreed time frame, you are going to receive a penalty. This is for those individuals who don't want to risk their resources. Probably they want to use that money on a given objective, so they don't really want to take a huge risk. So if you are interested, instead of your money being stuck somewhere without even earning any interest, then you should start with a certificate of deposit. But one thing you need also to realize is that compared to the rates of inflation, the interest which are earned from certificate of deposits, they may not even catch up with the rate of inflation. So that's the first asset. Remember, if you are interested in this kind of videos, remember to subscribe, like, and also don't forget to share. Another asset, another asset which you can go ahead and invest in is bonds. Bonds behave in a similar manner when it comes to the how certificate of deposits behave. But this time round, bonds are given either by institutions, let's say corporate institutions or governments. And here, you lend money to a corporate institution or the government, and at the same time, you are assured you will receive your principal back. At the same time, you will also receive the interest which you have agreed upon. For example, there are government bonds which even take up to 30 years to mature, but you are normally given an interest of, let's say, even after 6 months. For example, if you have 100,000 Kenyan shillings and you agree to lend this money to a government, let's say they give an interest of 10%. It means for the first year, you are going to receive a total interest of 10,000 Kenyan shillings. But after 6 months, you are given the first half, that is 5,000 Kenyan shillings. And then by the end of another 6 months, you are also given the same amount of 5,000 Kenyan shillings. By the end of 5 years, you are also given back your original principal. But there's a difference between a corporate bond and also a government bond. For corporate bonds, they tend to somehow be risky. That's why if you compare the interest which you can earn from a corporate bond and a government bond, the corporate bond interests tend to be somehow higher compared to government bonds. For those individuals who don't want to take a huge risk, I would always encourage you to go ahead and invest in government bonds. At that, another third asset which you can go ahead and invest in is REITs. REITs generally stands for Real Estate Investment Trust, and here they behave as mutual funds. For those individuals who are aware of mutual funds, REITs are actually more of mutual funds, but specifically dealing with real estate investment. Here, REITs, they generally play a role of investing in the development of real estate or acquiring real estate. They can be either in the rental section, they can also deal in commercial, or those things which are related to real estate. And what is the advantage of real REITs, or if you may say? You as an individual, you are not required to be dealing with the day-to-day activities when it comes to real estate. You are only you as an individual, you only own a part of this REIT, but you don't operate in the day-to-day activities of this REIT. There are those who are in the management, who their main role is to acquire property, to develop it, maybe to sell, maybe to rent it out. And you as an individual, at the end of the day, you are going to be given the rewards in terms of the income which is being generated from REITs. The advantage of you investing in REITs is that the amount which is required for you to start investing in REITs is so small compared to you as an individual going out and starting your own rental property. It is one of the easiest way for those individuals who are interested to start investing in real estate to begin investing in REITs. Now we need to move to somehow a risky asset which you can go ahead and invest in. It is somehow risky, but at the end of the day, it has or it promises a higher returns, and that is investing in stocks. Now, for those individuals who want to create a higher potential in terms of their income, their resources generating higher returns, you can go ahead and invest in stocks. Stocks, they are somehow risky, but you are assured if there could be growth of these stocks, you are going to receive higher returns. And if you are not that risk, if you are risk averse, I don't know which is the term which is supposed to be used. If you don't want to engage in risk investments, then you can go ahead and invest in blue chip stocks. These are those developed companies which have showed a track record. You can go ahead and invest in those companies. For example, in Kenya, we have the likes of Safaricom, PAT, those big companies which are listed in Nairobi Stock Exchange. You can invest in these stocks. You will always be given some dividends, normally once a year or twice a year. We have a full dividend and the interim dividend. Now, this really generates you decent amount of income when it comes to investing in the stock market or in stocks. At the same time, there's capital appreciation, and you are assured that you are going to beat inflation for over a long period of time. So that's another asset which you should go ahead and consider. Another asset which is also now, it promises higher returns, but also it requires huge capital. Is you going ahead and doing it yourself. That is investing in real estate. That is rental property. You as an individual deciding, okay, I am not going to use REITs. I am going to go alone in investing in rental properties, for example. Now, there are some individuals who may argue investing in rental property is somehow an easy activity. But if you may observe things which go on when it comes to operating a rental property, for example, is you as an individual, you are required to ensure first your property is strategically located. You are going to be responsible for the maintenance and also repairs which are going to occur when that property undergoes some, how can I say, some disturbances. At the same time, if you have those tenants who are incapable of paying your rent, you are responsible for funding the other for funding also for finding out how those tenants will go ahead and pay your rent. So if you are capable of dealing with those challenges, then investing in rental property is one of the best assets which you can actually invest in. Another asset which is somehow risky and it has good returns at the same time is P2P, peer-to-peer lending. If you have some extra resources which you want to risk, and also there are some other platforms which allow individuals to give money to these platforms, and this money is rented out rented out to those individuals who have somehow bad credit score. But it also promises good income, and also you may even do it locally, but at the end of the day you may find yourself engaging in wars, in fights, because those individuals who have rented out this money don't want to pay back the property which you gave them. Finally, I believe this is the best and also the most rewarding, but it requires a lot of amount, is creating your own assets. This may include books. We have, for example, YouTube videos, and we have webinars, seminars, all those things. This also requires a lot of, let's say, a lot of expertise. It requires also you to be a good marketer to ensure that this asset of yours reaches a lot of individuals. At the same time, these individuals are convinced to buy that asset. For example, you are in a position to create good YouTube videos, we have good podcasts, we have good ebooks, or you publishing your own books. Those are decent assets which can ensure you as an individual, you are in a position to create your own assets which are going to generate a lot of income. For example, good podcasts, good YouTube videos, they tend to generate revenue as time goes by each and every time. Anyway, I like, which asset are you interested to focus in? Like, share, subscribe. See you in my next one.